The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast, where Skip and DJ And What interview guests and discuss topics such as business, current events, and pop culture. The motivational podcast for the hip-hop millennial. Good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday, and welcome to this episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, DJ And What, with my co-hosts, Mike and Tamaya.
What's up?
What's up? Yo, holler on them. Yo, let them know who you are. Let them know who you are.
Mic check.
There we go. This is the first time we've done this the way, and I think in the future, this is probably how it will continue to go. I like having a different co-host and the fusion of the different minds to help the conversation go along in a nice way. So that makes me happy. But today we have a good guest today, really good guest, great guest. Her name is Coach Sade Pugh, and she's the director for Metro Elite Volleyball Club. Of course, you've been coaching for some time now. And of course, we found out that you were named Region 3A Coach of the Year for your work at North Middle High School. before coaching, you played volleyball yourself at SC State and at W.J. Keenan High School. Represent, my lady, represent.
Yes. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. I just want to just thank you all for the opportunity. And yes, I have been coaching volleyball for a long time, actually since I've been 18 years old, and I'll be 32 in July. So it's really been a great experience for me. And volleyball is just dear to me because I met all of my lifelong friends on the volleyball court. So that's why volleyball just has a dear place in my heart.
Hey, that's excellent. From here, I'm going to turn it over to Mike. I'm going to let him take the reins right now. He's going to leave some questions for you.
Okay.
So how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm happy it's Saturday. We get to rest. No tournament today. No practice today. It's just Saturday. Just relaxing. Mental break. Saturday.
Excellent. So we were just kind of, looking over your resume, prepping for the show, just doing a little bit of internet stalking.
Internet stalking, okay.
That's how we do. And one thing that we really noticed was, physical education really plays an important part in your life, and volleyball in particular. And I wanted to know, what part of that really connected with you when you were a young person, and what drove you to kind of make teaching and coaching the sport such an important part in your life?
Oh man. I started playing volleyball when I was 12 years old. And wow. I remember when I went to practice, it was like a AAU practice. I didn't know it was AAU. As you know, AAU is like, you're playing on the sports team outside of your high school team, which is way more in competition. So I'm 12 years old, and I'm in the gym full of experienced volleyball players, and I'm still underhand serving because I'm 12. Most of the players are overhand serving, so it's a big difference between underhand and overhand. And I'm underhand serving. The coach immediately ran to me and was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, serving, I guess. We don't serve like that in this gym. We don't serve like that in this gym. You better open your hand and serve the ball over the net. So I'm trying. Mind you, I'm 12 years old. I don't have that much strength. So I'm in middle school. And he said, "You just going to stand on this line until you overhand serve that ball over the net." And that whole practice, I stood back there just trying to get the ball over the net, and I finally did it. It took me about maybe 500 tries, but I finally did it. And it was then that he was like, "There you go, now you're ready." And that was like a big life lesson to me. Now that I think about it, I'm 12 years old. I'm trying. I'm not going to give up because I can't. I'm just keep trying. It's hard, but I'm just keep trying. And that one lesson, that first day when I was 12 years old, is what connected me to volleyball, because it was like mental toughness one-on-one that first day. And I think that just drove my life, because I'm very tough. I'm mentally tough as well. And I think that day in volleyball practice when I was 12 years old just shaped my entire life that day, to just be tough, be resilient, and just be able to just conquer any obstacle that comes my way. So that is why volleyball is so dear to me, because it taught me these life.
You mentioned playing outside of the school system.
Yes.
What do you think is really lacking from the athletic programs that we see in public schools?
Volleyball has really evolved over the years. So when I was playing in high school, yes, it was club volleyball and AAU volleyball and high school volleyball. I think that the training is really what lacks in high school, because you only really have 3 or 4 months to learn a skill and to execute the skill in competition, versus when you're playing club and AAU, this is year round. You're practicing every other day 52 weeks of the year almost. So of course, when you're practicing, when you have that volleyball player that plays club at AAU volleyball, yes, they're practicing every other day, 52 weeks of the year, versus the player that just plays volleyball during school season, rolls over and plays basketball, rolls over and does track or softball or whatever other sport it might be. The skill set is a lot different. You can really see it. And that is what I really see at Keenan, because a lot of, I coach varsity volleyball at Keenan. And I see that I have some players that play club AAU volleyball, and then I have other players that have the skill, but you just have to work with them a little bit more because they only play volleyball during the particular high school volleyball season. So training is definitely what I see is different with high school sports.
Yeah, I can totally that.
Yeah.
Good point.
You only really see it in the 1A schools and the 2A schools and 3A schools. Now, the 4A and 5A schools, those players are playing year-round, and they're also playing together on their high school team. So those teams are dominating, period. Dominating, period, because they play together all year round. But you have the 3A, 2A, 1A schools, they're playing all sports because it's not enough students in the school to just have that particular sport. And you want to share, you don't want to be selfish. So that's just how it is.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I played AAU basketball and then basketball at school. So I totally gained more during AAU practices because, like you said, we were playing all the time. And it's like you don't have time to rest. It's literally practice, conditioning all year round. Where if you're playing just for high school, you know, you can have a part-time job, you know, switch off to other sports. So you don't gain as much, like you said, mental discipline. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because a lot of people don't understand how tough AAU is.
Yes, it's tough.
That's a job. That's a cool job, man.
Yeah, it is a job.
And that's what most, I would say, college recruiters, I think for any sport, go for the AAU and club teams versus high school teams, because they know these players that are playing AAU and club are mentally disciplined. They know what it takes to play on the next level, which is constant practice, constant just mental, I wouldn't say mental beatings, because it's not really like that, but it's tough on yourself because you just want to perform well. It's tough.
Step up. You step up. Like you said, you were 12 years old, so you had to step up to be with the other kids. So you don't want to be lacking in that area. So you gain that mental toughness to keep persevering. So I like that you pointed that out. Tell us more about the Metro Elite Volleyball Club. How did you get started, and what are you trying to do there?
Yeah, Metro Elite. So the name comes from, I grew up in Columbia, around the Obama store on North Main Street. We call Columbia the Metro. And since it's where I'm from, where I met all my friends, that's where the name Metro Elite Volleyball Club came from. But starting the club has been in my stomach for a very long time. I would say for about 2 or 3 years, but I was really afraid to start it because it's so many other club volleyball teams in Columbia and surrounding cities. So I'm starting the club. Nobody don't come play for me. We have all these big clubs around. They've already been established, and I was just afraid to start it. But I kept hearing parents just in passing, because I've coached on multiple other club teams across Columbia and outside areas. When I stopped, I just took a break for a year, but I would still go to tournaments because I love the sport. I just want to see it. And I would have parents just ask me, "You're not coaching this year?" I was like, "No, I just took a break." "You ever thought about starting your own thing?" I said, "I thought about it, but I don't know." And then this one parent in particular, and I'm just going to call her name, she just said, Sade, you need to do it. I was like, well, is your daughter going to play for me? She was like, yes. What do you think?
Exactly.
And I was like, okay. So I guess I'm gonna do it. So Metro Elite actually started during COVID. Yes,
really?
It was established August 2020. Yes, August 2020. Yes. So we were planning during COVID. We were having meetings, just trying to figure out the type of athletes that we want to come and try out for our club. And I did not want to start with like a developmental team. I just didn't want to start that. I just didn't want to start there. I wanted to get out there and market myself as a club that really competes. And I wanted those type of players to come and play for my club.
That's what I was
And
about to ask. Like, how do you, because it's almost like you have to find your own pipeline of players with, especially with the amount of competition that's already there. Because, like you said, this stuff's well established.
yes.
And you jump in there as a small fish in a big, in a big pond.
Oh,
Like,
yes. So I could just walk you through this. So her daughter is an elite player. She's really good, really quick. She can play pin to pin. Pin to pin means that she can hit anywhere on the net. She's a very versatile player. And I was thinking, how can I get other players like her to come and play for me? You know that kids nowadays love videos. They love promo videos. So we did a video. And when we launched September, I think it might have been September or October. I'm not sure exactly when we launched. I can't remember because it's been a year. We launched a video. And then from that video, we got so many responses of players wanting to sign up for tryouts. It was good. It was great. So tryout comes. We have about 20 to 25 elite players in tryouts, right?
Wow.
okay.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it is. We had 20 to about 25 elite players for tryouts.
How many do you carry on your squad?
Let me finish telling the story.
Go ahead, my fault. I just wanted to know now. My fault.
So we were excited because we handpicked a really great coach. She coaches on the collegiate level. She's played Division I volleyball, so she's a great coach. And this was her first year coaching club. So it was just great. We were offering something great just across the board. And we had these 25 elite players come to tryouts. When it came to commitment time, we only had 4 of the 25 elite players actually commit to playing. Yes. So we were like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? I mean, I wasn't eating. Me and my eating, we were just so like worried. Like, what are we going to do? We can't compete with just 4 players because it takes 6 to even play. So luckily, parents started reaching out to us, and we were having like individual meetings. We were just got out there trying to recruit, and we ended up getting. So we have a small team of 8 players, and that's what we rolled with. And the other players, of course, this was an obstacle. We're new. And when you play club volleyball, it's an investment. So if we're new and all these other players, they went back to their other clubs that they played with in the previous years because they're already established. They know what they're going to get. So I'm just going to stay comfortable with my club. I came to tryouts. I wanted to see. I was impressed with tryouts. I'm just speaking from what I'm thinking. Parents, I think I was impressed with tryouts. Right. But you're so new. I just don't want to run the risk of this club sinking under, and I've invested into this club. So I get it. I understand it. They didn't tell me that, but I just kind of figured, that is what happened because the other players, they went back to the large clubs
that they were at previously.
That they were already at. And that was heartbreaking. I mean, I still kind of think about that, like, when did y'all come to tryouts? I mean, But, you know, I've been talking to parents, my parents that actually committed, and they was just like, that's just how it is. You're new, and yeah, that's just the game. So that's just something I had to learn, which I'm okay with it. I'm good with it now. But let me tell you about our 8. They are competing. They are really competing. We ranked number 18 out of 71 teams in our region.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. I was just going to ask you, what type of work do they put in? You know, what's their work ethic? That's amazing.
We are ranked number 18 out of 71 teams in our region in power and open levels, which are the highest level to compete in. And we never came in the top, about the bottom 5. We always finished in the top 50% of the tournament. So that's great. Wow, you know, most new clubs, they're worried, you know, how are we going to finish? You know, I don't want to be out here losing. I don't want to see my child out here losing. I just don't want to see that. But we are really competing, and I couldn't be more proud of our 8. When they get in the huddle, they say 8 deep, because that is what they are. It's 8 deep, but I'm super proud of them. They come from schools like Spring Valley, Ridgeview, Gray Collegiate. So those 4 and 5A schools are the students or the kids that actually committed to Metro Elite for the first year. So I'm happy with it, but it was very stressful in the beginning because we didn't think we was going to have enough players to play. So we made it.
Ooh, good Lord.
Yes.
So how can the community support you guys since you're still new and upcoming?
How can the community support us?
You know, can we, you know, just cheer on from the side? You know, do you guys need help with anything, assistance, some mentors?
You got a fundraiser?
Yeah. I think that fundraisers will come in the future. This year, our parents paid a fee, and that fee actually took care of the season. So we were happy for that. But we learned that stuff comes up along the way that you have to pay for. So a lot of things, you know, with any business, your own business, you invest a lot of your own money into it also, so it can flourish later on down the year. So I did invest a lot of my money into it, but I mean, a lot of companies don't really donate without knowing the results of a team. So I just really decided to not really ask for too many donations until we had statistics to show what your donation is really going towards. Like, look, we did this last year. Kevin is our video guy. He's doing amazing work with marketing for us. And this is what you're in this, because when you donate, you're investing also. So this is what you're investing into. It's not a club where we just take your money and just not doing anything with it. This is what we're really competing. These girls are really getting exposure. Like next weekend, we were playing in New Orleans. We're really out here just getting exposure. So I just want the community to just be aware that Metro Elite Volleyball Club, we're really competing. Like, we're really doing what we said we were going to do, which is train, get players mentally tough and expose them. And that is exactly what we're doing. So right now, I just really want the community to just believe in Metro Elite. That's all I need. And I think they're doing that now, because when we go to tournaments, our court is flooded.
They represent. They show up.
They're coming to watch. Look at this new team, and I hear side conversations because, of course, I'm the club director, but I look like I look like a parent because, like I said, I'm 31. I'll be 32 in July. No one believes I'm the club director, so of course I hear the side conversations, this is Metro Elite, this new team from Columbia. Yeah, like I just hear it all the time. Where's this team from? Oh, we're from Columbia. This is our first year. Not knowing that they're talking to the director of the entire thing, but hey, whatever.
For auditions for more?
Yeah, so tryouts this year will be November. I haven't really pinpointed a date yet. We're going to plan for 2021-2022 season. No, is that really 2020, 2022? Well, the next season coming up. We're just going to start planning for that when we come back from Nationals in Florida. So we were going to AAU Nationals the last week of June. So more exposure. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to add a 12s team and a 14s team next year. And I think that's going to be pretty promising because we're out there. People see that we're really playing. We're delivering on what we said we were going to do. So I expect great things. Tryouts next year. More commitments.
Hey,
instead of 4 like you had this year.
But you made it work.
Yeah.
Also, now I see why you told me, wait. Let me tell the rest of the story. Yeah. I was like, man, I can't feel like I kind of threw a little wrench in it, but you turned those lemons into lemonade. So that's what matters. That's what matters. Mm-hmm. Well, this leads into a good little section of our questioning, and we just wanted to ask you about, and I didn't even know that you were so young. So you're 31 years old and you're the director of this club. You have to deal with these young ladies on a day-to-day basis, help them get through what they need to do, especially with the AAU. It's pretty darn tough. And so, I mean, like a big thing people need to know, and I understand this from playing sports as well, that coaches, they are for the development of the participants because you all are mentors in the sense of being a coach. And so there are benefits associated with the coaching and the mentoring that have been well documented. And especially in our community, that's something that I think is necessary. It usually shows through well when it's done properly. And I mean, it creates and teaches better social skills. It gives them models. It lets them observe adults in positive situations. You can learn your lessons that you learn on the field. They go off the field as well. Learn how to have proper behavior, acceptance of things, time management, counseling, and you get friendships. So, man, as a director, man, how do you feel about being in that position? And what is your definition of a mentor or a role model?
I really strongly believe that if you are mentoring athletes, then you have to have some type of athletic experience. You had to have gone through it to be able to teach the up and coming athletes how to handle it. So I can't tell them, come on, you can do it. I've never done it myself, or I've never mentally put myself through any adversity on the court myself. So how can I tell you how to do this if I've never done it? You're going to be looking at me like, you can't tell me anything. I don't trust you. So with coaches, I strategically find coaches. So I don't really advertise, I'm looking for a coach. Hey, do you want a coach? I'm not going to do that. I strategically find coaches that have been through the fire just like myself, or has been through worse fire, so that they can mentor their players that are on their prospective teams or the teams that they're on currently. So the coach that I have now, like I said, she's played D1 volleyball. She is an assistant volleyball coach on the collegiate level. So she goes through this every day, because college sports, you practice year round also. And she's a really good mentor to them, and they really look up to her. She's a really good teacher, and I think that they really look up to her and they listen to her. But you do have some that I guess the mental part is sometimes it just gets too hard, and that is where I come in. I do vocational rehabilitation as a transition counselor. So I'm working with students in high school every single day. I was recently working with the mental health population. So, I think that human services is just what I've been put on the earth for. Just helping others get through adversity is what I'm here for. And I'm doing it through athletics. I'm doing it through volleyball. So that's how I feel about that. I can talk for days about that.
No, I can tell. No, but like you said, it's in your spirit. It's in your spirit to do. And you just have to be doing it.
That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Man, well, that's a blessing, man. Of course, you got to keep pushing that. I always like to hear things like that, man, because especially at your age, too, you're going to be able to, from that, develop, your stuff's going to be fine. You're going to have an issue if you're having that type of energy behind what you're doing. Do you believe that? All right, so you think, and I understand that your staff, they meet that criteria of proper mentors to the players. They show proper techniques, of course. And my question is, do you, from the young ladies that you work with, do you see them having better outcomes in school and at life outside of school from being involved in the club?
I want to say that they came pretty well disciplined. I want to say,
see, that's what I was wondering.
I want to say they came to us with a pretty good foundation. Their families are very supportive, and their families I could tell that they have discipline in the household. So this particular group, they came already disciplined because they came from those bigger clubs also. And they gave Metro Elite a chance, which I tell them all the time, I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for trusting us. So they already came in knowing the foundation for this particular sport. But I can also speak to the other part because I am a high school coach. Sometimes I see, some stuff isn't the foundation there. So I really see both sides with that.
Both sides of that, right?
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting because they always do those studies on sports, youth involvement in sports, and the outcomes that you can get out of it. And I always have a weird relationship or understanding of AAU because I'm like, man, that's so hard. They're working them so hard. They're beating these little people up. I be feeling so bad for them. But at the end of it, like most of them actually have better outcomes than those who only participate in high school sports. And I know growing up, I only participated in high school sports. I didn't do any AAU or anything like that. And I like the effects that it had on me. But I believe that if I had been in one of those other programs, I could see how like drilling, I know they always tease about like tiger moms in Asia, tiger moms pushing their kids really hard, but you do get certain outcomes from this. And I know growing up as a young adult, getting ready to start having children and just thinking about how you raise your children. Would you, if you could, would you all think that raising your children in highly competitive athletics, it's positive? It has more positive than negative?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I'm not even being biased because I've done it. But it's the exposure. We go to different states to compete. We're seeing different things. We're learning different things. We play in nationals. We're seeing different cultures. So nationals mean that these are girls from all over the United States, and you see different things, and I do believe that it plays a vital role in teaching them how to conduct themselves in society. Because it's diverse, and society is diverse. You play if you're playing in high school, then depending on what kind of school it is, if it's predominantly black or predominantly white, you don't really see much diversity. But when you're traveling to different states, competing, and also when you're traveling different states, of course, after we compete for the day, you have the whole afternoon to hang out and see different things. So I do believe that participating in AAU sports and club sports has a positive outcome. And sometimes some kids use it as an outlet to get away from home sometimes. So it's definitely positive. You play AAU and club, and you get this college scholarship, you're going off to college. You're away from whatever you wanted to get away from at home, if it is that type of home environment. So it just has so many positives. I could talk all day about that also, but not just to just limit only club sports to having positive outcomes. This is just what I believe because what I've been through and who I am today.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that because I remember when I was playing AAU, I had to, wake up at a certain time. You're just more prepared for life. You got to be on the court. You got to be ready. If your ride or transportation is there, make sure you eat in between the tournaments and make sure you get some rest and you're not playing around all the time, you really grow up. And like you said, you meet a whole list of people, because when I started playing, like I said, I was in middle school. So I got to see people that were bigger than me, because in high school, so you can compete with people that were older than you. So it makes you step your game up a little bit more to get on their level if you're smaller, but it really does prepare you for life, because in middle school, I was not thinking about, my daily routine or time management at that time. So it really pushed me to grow up.
Right. And I do just want to add that even when I'm coaching at Keenan, or when a couple of girls on the club team want to quit when it gets hard, I always say, when you go to work and it's hard, are you going to quit? No, because you still need to make money to take care of you or to buy whatever you need. So it's the same thing here. You're learning a lesson to carry over in life, just like I said, when I was 12 years old, I kept serving until I got it, Only having 4 players commit out of the 25 that actually came to tryouts. We didn't quit. We just kept going. We said, we got to get out here. We got to recruit. We got to find some other players. And we made it. We're here. So I really just think that it just teaches you not to quit, not to be soft, to just be able to tackle whatever life throws at you. Because I always tell players, you ready to graduate? You ready to get out of the house? But life is something else. I tell them that all the time.
You're preparing them. You're really mentoring them. I like that.
Every day.
So, as you know that, Blacks are often underrepresented in country clubs and sports like tennis, golf, gymnastics, and swimming, and volleyball. So often this is due to the lack of resources in their communities. So these sports, they really do pay. It costs a lot to be a part of these sports. Of course, the traveling and then the training in different facilities. So in addition to that, opportunities for athletic scholarships for those sports tend to focus on kids that are in clubs or, like you said, AAU. So one of the great things about Midlands, about the Metro Elite, is that you allow the girls the opportunity to compete in exclusive leagues. So in your opinion, what can be done to remove barriers to club volleyball and underrepresented sports?
And I'm just going to be very transparent with this.
I'll wait for this one. I'll wait.
That is another reason why Metro Elite was created. And by no means am I just trying to be rude or stepping on any toes, but sometimes with anything, volleyball can get really political. And the players, I just feel like Metro Elite offers this type of competition without all the politics.
Word.
My mom is a lawyer at this firm, or my dad is a doctor at this hospital, so you have to do it. You have to treat me a type way because of my parents, so that my parents can continue to pay for me to play, so you can continue having this business. No, from day one, I made it known that we were not operating in that way. And that is what, in most bigger clubs, that's what you see. We're just tired of that.
That's really the landscape out there right now.
Sometimes coaching can get political. I literally had a parent tell me, well, I'm a customer, so you need to treat me as a customer. And their daughter, wasn't performing the way she needs to perform. So if you're not performing the way you need to perform, why would you be on the court? What am I really teaching you?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of this?
Yeah.
You're not getting anything out of it. And that comments just sticks in my brain, and as you can hear in my voice, I'm still angry about it. Like, why would you say that? What does that mean? What are you teaching your kid? Are you teaching her that you're just going to bail her out every single time when she doesn't like the way something is going? Absolutely not. You're not learning anything, and I don't care how much you pay. I don't care. I'm offering
That's
right.
Warped.
Yes, I'm offering what I got, and if what I got isn't good enough for you, then this club isn't for you. So that is why Metro Elite was created, so that all the politics can be erased and we can just compete and get better and be better young women, because that's what happened to me. Yeah. And I turned out very well. So how I turned out, I just want to see other young ladies turn out that way. And opportunity. Yeah, every single player on my team is African American. And like I said, we're number 18 out of 71 teams in the region.
Dang. Go ahead.
That's amazing, especially because you said you just started. So that means you guys have been putting in the work and you've been training them.
Yes, and it's just a stigma. Like, it's a stigma that African American players only know how to play basketball. We don't know how to play volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let me tell you, I played basketball my whole life. And then my junior year in high school, I tried out for the volleyball team, you know, thinking I was going to make it. Got cut. I was so sad. Because, you know, you have to make it to junior varsity. You have to make it to varsity when you're a junior. So I'm like, okay, I have to. And I was underhand serving, so that's probably why I got cut. But that was a life lesson for me, because now I know what it feels like to be cut from a high school team. I was like, you know, that's a life lesson. You need to learn these certain things, and it made me work harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So to remove that type of barrier, I just think that I know I'm not the only one thinking it, because I have a team of people who might think the same way that I'm thinking. So outside of the people that I have in my organization right now, I know it's other people feeling the same way. And I don't know, I'm not trying to start a movement or anything. I'm really not. But I just know that other people are tired of this too. Yeah. Because, you know, like, come on, we can play. You know, if you have, let's say you have a mixed team. You have a mixed team of African Americans. Let's just say a diverse team. And you have this African American player that's a powerhouse, a playmaker. You know, just anytime that the team is struggling and needs some points, this player is able to do it, or these players are able to do it that are African American. But you're not going to give the ball to these African Americans because of what you think or that political part. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's not fair, because the same way you guys practice and get reps in, we're doing the same thing. And, you know, I applaud those girls on Kentucky's team, Clemson teams, these African American players are shining, and I'm just so happy to see it. I'm so happy to see it. And if Metro Elite can create those type of athletes to keep doing that, then I'm good. That's what Metro Elite is here for. And I just want other people in the community that might feel the same way that I do to stand up and do what I did too, because it's enough players to go around for everybody. I was scared I only had 4. Look, I got a team of 8. Just let's, you know, fight your fears. Let's do it. I did it.
Yeah. But I'm glad you mentioned the politics, because that's kind of what makes the kids not even want to play anymore, because the politics, like, once they start to grow up and understand it, that's why I kind of put the basketball down. After high school, I was like, I it's not fun anymore. You know, people they just take the fun out of it. And it's just like, I just want to play ball. But now it's like, okay, you guys are sizing people up, getting them ready for scouts. And then it's just a lot of pressure when you're in school. So I can only imagine, you know, AAU on that level.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Kevin travels with us sometimes to our volleyball events. And I always tell him, Kevin, I just want you to know that you're about to see a whole world that you've never seen before. And I wish he was on here so he could talk about what he see. But he was like, oh my goodness, you're right. It's, you know, just like those basketball tournaments where it's floods of people, droves of people. That is the same for volleyball. It is droves of people, and it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm just happy that Metro League has a seat at the table right now.
How do you handle parents, with the coaching aspect?
This year has been really good. And like I said, I've had really supportive parents. Like, I haven't really had any difficulties with parents because I think these are the parents that was tired of what I mentioned earlier. Gotcha. And they were just so happy to be a part of something that's really for their daughters, that's really for molding them into productive young women after they finish volleyball, or even if they play volleyball on the next level, which if you play club 9 times out of 10, that's your end goal. That's what you want to do. Yeah. And I think that this year has just been phenomenal. Like, for my club communication, I do a newsletter every week. Well, I try to do it every week or every other week. And sometimes I just write notes in there just saying thank you so much, for being supportive, because parents are also what makes your program. They can make it or break it. And I've just been so blessed to just have supportive parents. Even my assistant director, she's a parent. And she just keeps me on my toes, because I always go to her and say, you think parents are like this if I say this, or what do you think parents are going to think if I do this? So I always ask her opinion first, and she's just been phenomenal for me this year. So I have supportive parents. In previous years, when I've been coaching, like I said, I had that one parent come to me and say, well, I'm a customer. I think that you should deliver, whatever he said. But all I remember saying, you should look at me as a customer. And if I'm not happy, I guess the union make me happy. I don't want Metro Elite. We just don't want those type of parents. And like I said, security, come on, exit. Come on, come get them. Come on, just come on up out of here. Come on, we're not dealing with that. And I make that known from the jump. At the beginning of the year, I had individual parent meetings, and I believe that you put the expectations on the table in the beginning. Yes. You sign this contract saying that you understand what I'm saying and you agree with the terms of this team, and we're going to rock and roll after you sign. And you just put it all up there up front. And I think that has worked amazing for me this year. So I really don't really have any complaints with my parents this year. They are just phenomenal.
Man, it's a blessing, man.
That is a blessing.
Yes, it really is.
Have you seen, and this is just a side question, but like as an all black volleyball team moving around and going from where you're going, has the rest of the culture, have they been pretty inviting of you?
Yeah, they have been. And that's why I said at the beginning, when you mentioned blacks being underrepresented, because we are being underrepresented, but I'm hoping Metro Elite changes that in the upcoming years. Yeah. But they have been so inviting. Like the commissioner, our region, he was, when I emailed him and said I want to start the club, he told me what I needed to do, put me in touch with the right people. Good. And they have been very, very inviting. I haven't had any hiccups with any other club directors across South Carolina, Columbia, and surrounding cities. Hey. So it's all been positive. They have been inviting. But I think it's still that stigma, I'm a small club. I'm not going to be here in the next couple years, but I just want to let everybody know that I am going to be here in the next couple years, the next 5 to 10 to 20 years, if I can be. Exactly. Like I said, I'm 31. Yeah, I can do this until I'm 50, 55, 60. Yeah. You have club directors that age. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm here.
You could be building a legacy. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what
Exactly. I am
here to stay. Metro.
My child is 5 years old, and when she's 6 or 7, she's going to be playing on the 12 team. Hopefully, I mean. You know, we're just creating a pathway for the children that are coming up. That's what I believe. This year it was strategic. I didn't want a developmental team. I wanted to come out competing to get the interest, and I think that I have the interest. So now I can add that 12 team. And typically, when you have a 12 team, they stay with you 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then you start the cycle all over. I'm just excited for the years to come, and we're here to stay.
Man, that leads into this next question, because it seems like you have this thing, like you understand what's going on because you've competed in it, you've seen the life, you know what it is and how it works. But usually there's some stumbling blocks to starting a youth club. It's just knowledge and know-how, knowing what's going on. Have you dealt with any legal issues in creating the creation of the club? Because I know for listeners out here who may want to start this type of thing, there may be some things they need to know outside of just getting the players, making sure you have finances, but some legal aspects. Like you said, it only puts you in contact with the right people so that you can get it done properly.
Right. So legally, I haven't had any hiccups on the legal side. Excuse me, because I think when you write a contract, and you have parents and players sign that contract in the beginning of the season. When we did our contract, like I said, I held a meeting and I actually read the entire contract to the parents myself.
What? That is no. You're doing all kinds of business practices right now.
We read it together.
Wow. You can't be talking about this. That's dangerous. She knew she read it out. She told me what was in it.
Yes, we read it together, you know. I read it aloud and they followed. And when they initialed, they understood. And I made sure I left enough room for questions. If you had any questions about what you're signing, let me know. And I kept saying that as I was reading the contract with them. Like I said, I was reading it aloud and they were following. So we were all reading and comprehending exactly what I wanted to happen with the club and what I was not going to deal with this club season and in future club season. So I feel like when you put that contract in place in the beginning and they sign it, they understand. And I travel with my contracts everywhere I go. Just in
and those contracts, they contain stuff containing the travel for the players, practice, financial commitment, all that stuff, right? All those things.
Everything. Yes.
So how did you create your contracts? Like, where'd you do that at?
The Region actually has like a draft contract on the website. Like, he gives us all kind of resources to be successful. Now, he's not the type to tell you what to do because you're a club director. You should know how to read. You should know how to pull what you need. Yeah. He gives you the resources. He really did great with that. And you know, if you have a question, you can email him or text him, and he'll email you back and text you back. So he's great. Okay. I have the Region itself is great, and I just followed the resources. I followed the draft that he had. I put in what I wanted to put in to pertain to Metro Elite, and I went from there. You know, I even have a chain of command. You know, if you have a complaint, then you talk to our team mom. I have a team mom, like she's designated as the parent liaison because you can't have parents coming up to you 24/7. You know, it filters. You know, you talk to the team mom communicates to myself, and I communicate to her, and she'll communicate it back. Now, if it gets difficult, then yes, I always open up and say, feel free to contact me at any time. And they do, but they typically respect the chain of command I put in place because they signed in the beginning that you understood that is how you're supposed to go about, you know, doing any complaints or anything like that. And I haven't had much this year. I just think that putting the foundation in the beginning is very important. That's why I said I read it to them so you can understand, and they were all very understanding and supportive. So legally, I think we're fine. Financially, with me being new to having my own business and new to running a club, I should have known to have some money in the pot, but I really didn't have anything. Like I said, I really was just going off of my own budget, and gym space is really something that's very expensive because you're paying for gym space from November to June.
Good Lord.
That's half a year. That's half a year. Yes. Yes. That's half a year that you're paying to practice every week. And that caught us for a loop because we didn't think that we were going to have to pay to rent gym space. Because, like I said, we started during COVID, and a lot of gyms that we had outlined to use were closed. So we had to figure out a plan B, and we were paying for gym space. And that's just something that we didn't really plan for. And we also didn't plan for when things come up, like having to order additional jerseys, or, if we did have a player join us. So we got an additional player to finish nationals with us. So that's great. We didn't know that we should have had jerseys just waiting for extra players if we were to pick up players we didn't know to do that. And when we ordered jerseys, he said, do y'all just want to have a couple jerseys, a couple blank jerseys, because our jerseys are customized with their last name on it. Gotcha. And we was like, well, we don't have extra players, and I think we're going to be good, not knowing that we were going to pick up additional. Yeah, not knowing that we were going to pick up additional players. I guess he knew we might have done that. That's why he kind of asked us.
He's like, I've never seen this before. You didn't believe me.
Why you tell me? Why you just didn't tell me? Why you asked me that, sir? So I can be prepared. I'm new to this.
That's part of the learning experience, that learning curve. You had to pick that up. You're like, oh, that's why he hinted.
Yes, yeah. And just like different things that just come out throughout the year. I just think that you have to have a certain amount of money allotted for that, like the emergency fund, or, extra jerseys. And then, we got to buy equipment like balls and ball cards or training equipment. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe donations probably would have been instrumental, but me personally, I just didn't want to ask for donations without them knowing what they're donating for, because there's millions of sports teams out here. But I just want our future donors to know that what we're doing is really for the culture. Come on, let's support these young women doing better on the court, outside of the court, and mentally, just well-rounded individuals. That's what we're doing. That's why Metro Elite is here.
But you don't have to, I don't think, based on your results, I don't think you have to worry about being seen like a Dr. Umar Johnson. I think you should be able to get you some donations. People know that you're building something that's correct and that's real. And of course, like you said, you're putting this type of effort behind it. It's going to continue on for years. So, man, it's amazing.
And I guess also knowing how to ask for donations.
Sometimes, I mean,
If you need help, with fundraising, let me know, because I am so much of a creative. Like, I can just think of ideas the way that I can help you guys. You see what I'm saying?
That is a way that the community can help me, because me personally, it takes every last bone in my body to ask for help. Like in my personal life, if I'm struggling, I'm going to struggle till I can't struggle anymore. I'm just not going to ask for help. I'm just doing this on my own. And I guess rolling into this business, I probably was thinking that way also. Like, I'm not going to ask for help, which, I mean, I need help. And I realized that, and you can't run a business without community help. I see that. And I guess just maybe I need to go through a class, because I mean, sending out letters to businesses is fine. You might get a response and you might not, but I don't know. That's what I mean.
More effective ways of marketing and communicating, advocating for your club. And that's what Tamaya was offering it, because she's great at it. She could come up with ways for you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really creative. Like I can just think of ideas and it just comes out the top of my head. But it's great that you have Kevin doing your visuals, because the visuals will help with your marketing and advertising. You know, just get a portfolio together and then you can good to go.
That, you know, like, what do I put in the portfolio? So I think that's an area that I need improvement in. And you know, I'm not, even though I'm the type where I don't like to ask for help, but I'm also the type to know when I need help. And that is an area that I'm not strong in, and I can definitely use improvement in that area, like marketing and just getting out there and just getting more engaged with the community versus just them seeing us playing and
yeah, because they want to see your hard work. When I like to say, like, closed mouths don't get fed. So if people don't see what you do behind the scenes, you know, they're not going to know how much work you put in. I like to support people who I know are working hard and being consistent. So, you know, if I've seen that, you know, I'll be willing to donate, help, or even refer people to you or repost something that can help, that can bring more people to your audience, you know, to drive more people to your page or to your website, or, you know, if anyone wants to be a speaker or a mentor for any of the young ladies.
Now,
you know?
We do have an Instagram page and a Facebook page, but I kind of run it myself. And I'm busy. I'm really busy. And I just feel like social media is a job within itself. You have to have someone hired separately to do that. And I'm learning that, because I'm like, I'm having a conversation. I see this great play on the court. Dang, I didn't catch that great play. That would have been good for the Instagram page. I didn't catch it because I'm over here holding a conversation, or I don't know. Like when I'm at tournaments, I'm in director mode. Like I'm just trying to make sure everything runs smoothly. Parents are happy. The kids aren't getting injured. Coaches are being treated well. That's the mode that I'm in. I mean, I'm watching the game. Like sometimes a parent my age, you didn't see that? I'm looking at it, but my mind is just turning constantly when I'm at tournaments. It's work. It's a job for me. And I'm trying to be on Instagram trying to shoot this too.
You can't do it.
I can't. So I think in the future, I'm gonna have to hire someone for social media, like for the marketing piece. So I'm learning that. That's something that I'm learning. Like I have to get someone separate to do that. And I want our Instagram page to jump. Like it's this club out of Georgia called 85. Their Instagram page is phenomenal. I mean, I think they have people recording practices. Like they have mic ups in practice, which I'm like, dang, I'm gonna get my Instagram like that. I'm gonna get my Instagram like that.
Don't worry. Yes. Don't worry. We got you.
Yeah,
we got
seriously.
you. Yes.
Yeah, please help me. Yes.
So, what current projects related to your club are you currently working on? And are you working on any other club sport activities within?
So right now I'm trying to work on planning summer clinics, because summer clinics is just training sessions, and of course with those training sessions you get more interest. So I think that's another form of marketing, kind of, you know, come out, we can train you. You also find out what Metro Elite is about, and hopefully you can play for Metro Elite for the club season. So we're planning that, and also doing spring conditioning for my high school team. So when I tell you that I'm coaching or doing something volleyball related every day of the year, I'm definitely doing something every day of the year. And I'm also trying to incorporate personal training, because a parent came to me and asked me if I could train their child.
Wow.
Of course. I just gotta find the time to do it, but of course, I'll squeeze it in some type of way. You know, if I can help another child or a young lady, then by all means, I will do it. Like I said earlier, I really believe that is my divine purpose on earth, is to help others, and if I can do it, I will. So that's what I'm currently working on, trying to get more players for the upcoming year, plan summer training, summer clinics, and also incorporate personal training with Metro Elite. So just adding on different components to the business, pretty much.
And how do we find you, or how do parents find you if they're in?
Our website, www.metroelitevolleyball.com. Our Instagram is Metro Elite Volleyball _, or you can email me, metroelitevb803@gmail.com. And there's another thing. We actually have a domain. I don't even know how to work that, so I need help. Like the email, it could be Sade@metroelitevolleyball.com. I have that. I just don't know how to use it. So maybe I need to go through a tech class with that. So I just got a Gmail to where I know how to operate a Gmail mail account. But I actually have a domain. I bought it. It's just sitting there, I think. I have the website, but the email address, I haven't really figured out how to get through that. So maybe there's something else I need to work on figuring out for next year.
Man, you got it, man. One step at a time. You've done a good job thus far. I mean, great job.
Yep, a little bit at a time. Yep.
And I just want to thank my friends. Have been very supportive. Like, they've come to my tournaments. We don't really play locally. Like, we're in Rock Hill. That's the most local. We've really been out of town most of the time, and my friends actually travel to come see us play and to just support what I'm doing. And like I said, I met my friends through volleyball, so they're very supportive. And also, my team, my mom, man, listen, if I could keep her for the rest of my life, I will. She's very good. She's very supportive, and she's honest, and she's transparent, and that's what I need. And also my assistant director, she keeps me on my toes. Like, if I forget something, you better bet she's going to be calling me, reminding me, did you do this? Make sure you do this at this time. I don't think you did this, Sade. Or you need that type of partner that holds you accountable, not somebody that's going to, just be there and be afraid to tell you when you're wrong. So I've just been blessed to have a good group around me, really.
Man, that's excellent, man. Well, I'm going to tell you like this, man. I want to congratulate you on your success and your energy, and your determination to get this thing off the ground and rolling while you're also juggling those other things, man. That is awesome. That's all I gotta say about that. That's what I'm saying. I know that's what I'm saying. I can't, this is podcasts I listen to, and anytime they hear about stuff like this, they call it excellence, urban excellence. And it's amazing to see you do that. It makes me feel lazy. I'm telling you, man, because, I'm like, what am I out here doing, man? I'm up here messing up right now, man. I'm up here messing up, goofing off, because you can't say nothing about it, man. You're phenomenal, man. That is amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we conclude today?
No, but since I just want to be funny saying, man, I'm lazy. I just wanted to tell you what my day-to-day looks like. So I get up 5:30 in the morning. So I go through my work day. I work extremely hard at work because our job is kind of demanding. Like I'm saying, I work in human services. So you want to make sure you're delivering the services to your consumers, your clients that you're working with. You want to make sure that they're good. And also I do that from 7:30 to 4. Then I work at 4. I make sure I get my daughter situated, and then I go to practice, and then I'm there from about 4:35 to about 7:38 at night. We get home at 8 o'clock at night. My daughter knows immediately, go straight to the bathtub. We don't have time because we need to be in bed by 10 o'clock so we can have a good night's sleep to get up in the morning. So mind you, I ain't even eat your meals, right? That's what it is like.
Do you eat? Oh, Lord, child. Yeah, that is.
That's go mode right there.
I didn't even eat your meals, so yeah.
I'm like, no.
That's what it's like.
Oh, gosh.
I just want to be funny about that. She said you're being lazy.
Oh, all right, that was a good swift kick to the ass. I'll take that one, man. I ain't never heard it said like that. I'm telling you, I'm gonna play this one back. Just keep hearing that piece over and over again. All right, man. I'm gonna let you get back to handling your business, but I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us today, giving us your time, your energy to let us know what a young boss is out here doing here in the Metro, putting it down for the culture, actually showing up and showing out. So, man, I got to give you kudos for that. So I'm going to thank you immensely for that, for joining us today. And this is our 13th episode. 13 is a lucky number. So I hope, we can get some help running your way. We're going to do our best to make sure that we help to spread your information and any way in which we can be of assistance for you, man. Please reach out and contact us. Of course, you know my brother Kevin, you see him all the time. That's a disclaimer. She does work with my brother. So we do know, she knows her pretty well, but anything you can do, of course, just let us know and we'll make sure we support. Even when we have daughters and they're coming up, we'll make sure we send them to your volleyball club.
Yeah. Just make sure, just let them know. We're going to be tough on them, but they're going to be mentally ready for whatever. So
that's what I'm talking about.
And good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.